Welcome to Thursday Night Knives. I'm Bob DeMarco. Coming up, we're going to take a look at the new tactile knife Bear with the cool new resin handle called Ultim. Take a look in the state of the collection at some oldies but goodies that are kind of landmark knives in my collection, or ones that got me hooked. And then the topic of discussion are the knives that got you hooked. A lot of people have knives because they need them or they find them useful. And then there's a knife that they get that really sends things over the edge for them, and they start to collect. Jeffrey S., good to have you here. Civivi Brigand, he says. That is a cool knife. I never got the Brigand, but I like it because it's a Wharncliffe, and it looks a bit, well, like a swashbuckler, if you will. Nick, good to see you. Happy Thursday Night Knives, everyone. He says, I just saw this. My daughter left this for me, and I think that's Christopher Wilhelm. Great topic, he says. Excellent. Well, let me know what it is. And I have 4. They're more landmarks than the one that got me hooked, because I don't know if I can actually say this. Oh, okay. I think I know why my daughter left me this note, and it's because of this knife. Hey, Dave. We have Dave, this old sword blade reviews, with us. Evening, Bob. Jim, blade aficionados, dig into that like button. Yes, I like that. Dig into it, guys. I like your new avatar too, Dave. We have Chris, Blade Ogre. Good to have you here with us, sir. Can't wait to hear what you got in the armory today. 9198, David, good to have you with us. Love the topic. Evening, everyone, he says. So open on camera. Love you, Dad, says my daughter. And it's because I'm showing off tonight. She just turned 12, and I'm showing off the knife I got for her. And howdy, Caleb. Good to have you here. We have Caleb Townsend with us. This is not her first knife, but it's her first locking knife, her first flipper. Kay Mason, good to have you with us. Kay Mason, he's a recent patron. Good evening, fellow. Ike-momaniacs. That's right. He is the man who taught me the term, Ike-momaniac. Sinister Knife, good to see you here, sir. Leek, Feldspar, Sandrin Torino, and Spyderco Capara. Oh, that's good. You have 4 too. The Leek is a good one. I could see that being many people's gateway. This will be Eden's Gateway right here. This is a Firebird made by Ganzo. I am unsure of the model. N. Conway, good to have you with us. N. Conway, good evening, Bob, Jim, fellow junkies. My grandpa's old Buck 503 was his magical item that opened Christmas presents and was always within Grandpa's reach. I have it and treasure it still. That is awesome. And I also have a very special knife for me is one that I don't think I ever saw my grandfather use, but he definitely used the hell out of it sometime before he gave it to me. Chris McNair, good to see you here, Chris. Evening, Bob and Jim, junkies. Chris, you got a knife coming your way, sir. Sorry it was so late in coming. That is Chris. We're going to do one giveaway a month, one open giveaway. And Chris won the first one. And it is a Tonto by Tucson Knives, donated by Dave of This Old Sword Blade Reviews. Nick Martino says, I thought she had a pink locking Spyderco. Delica, maybe? I don't remember the model, but thought you gave her one. No. See, what happened is she gave me a pink Rat 2 and a purple Delica through my wife, obviously. Get daddy a knife and get daddy a pink knife, and I chose it basically, but she gave it to me. But I gave her a Swiss Army knife 2 years ago, and then last year I gave her one of those little lady leg knives. You know what those are, right? Here's a biggish version of a lady leg knife, or a very large version. I gave her a small one by Rough Rider. And this year I gave her this. She expressed interest in getting a flipper quite a while ago. Kept it up. Hey, Ketmook, good to have you here, sir. Howdy, Bob and Jim. Knife junkies, he says, or junkies. And so she said black or red. I was unsuccessful in finding an inexpensive enough red knife. I got to say, I was like, I want this in the 20s. So for a in the 20s dollar knife, this is an awesome first knife. Chris McNair says, thanks, Bob. Looking forward to the Tucson. Like, where is it? Put it in the mail. It should be here by now. I know, sir. I do apologize. Busy season. Tomorrow's the end of our fiscal year, and then I'm at the post office every damn day. Here we go. So I think this is why she left me this note. Open on camera, she says. Notes here. This is what it looks like. Very cute. She put a little pink on it. Notes by Eden. Number 1, show them this paper. Hi. Number 2, tell them the story about me showing people at my camp the knife and looking up the knife junkie, and have a good show. At the camp with the knife. Okay. My daughter was at camp, and they were so I think it was a like a little plastic utensil knife, and she's wielded it, and some boy was like, "You don't know how to hold a knife. You're a girl," or something stupid like that. And she's like, "Actually, I do know how to use it." She overestimates her her abilities. I think she thinks she's Jason Bourne at this point, or whatever, Jacqueline Bourne. But she said, "No, I actually do know how to use a knife, and my father is the knife junkie. You might not know him, but he's knife internet famous." And I was like, I thought that was funny. And then she looked it up on her phone. See, they're like, "That's your dad?" Like, that's weird. So that's what that is. Okay, there you go, baby. She's always like, "Mention me on your show." So here, she made sure of it tonight. Open on camera. This should come with a prize or a gift, I think. Christoph Wilhelm says, first impressions, Gramps' ceremonial parade sword. Ornate but couldn't cut butter. German knives with swastikas, his bayonet, Korea, and a few other ancient fixies. Multiple traditionals. That, Christoph, that's really cool. My grandfather had a friend that my brother and I knew briefly when we were little kids, but my brother's always been into World War II. This friend of my grandfather's was in intelligence during World War II. He was in the OSS, and he had a room of these weapons, and he went senile and his wife went senile, and unfortunately they sold this priceless collection for a song to some, I don't know to whom, but it was a sad case of taking advantage of a senile old man. Jay McConnell, good to have you here, Jay. Evening all. Kershaw Link and a Bark River bushcrafter in Crewware started me exploring steels. That's, man, that you started kind of at the top there, at least with that Bark River knife. And I got to say, Kershaw, even though I don't really get Kershaws much anymore, I still use them quite a bit. My wife uses her Kershaw, one of the RJ Martin designed Kershaws, and I have they're all over the house basically, and they get used a bit. So I do love Kershaw, but Bark River, oh my Lord. Then handle shapes, handle materials, handle shapes, always something new to explore. That's interesting, Jay, that you mentioned that, because the handle shapes thing, and I happen to have two knives in my hand that will illustrate this perfectly. But I was thinking about my taste in knives and how it's kind of gone from this to this. I'm not saying that I don't like heavily committed handles where you're kind of not forced, but there aren't. This is just not as versatile as totally neutral. And I have noticed that my tastes have what's the word? Have listed towards the neutral, and then neutral handles frequently carry neutral blades. So I find myself going less for things like this. I love this knife, though. It's so dramatic, and it would just be so nasty to use. High class fighter here by custom Greg Lightfoot Element. But So yeah, handles. I love them both. I was picking it up, walking around with both of them, and I'm like, this is like perfect because it's like a stick, and that's what we were evolved for. And this is perfect because it fits in my hand like a like a glove. So both are good. Nick Martino says, "Your knife YouTube famous to me." Thank you. LOL. He says, "I know I can't wait to actually meet you in person. I look forward to that, Nick. You've been around. You've been with this channel for a long time. I really look forward to meeting you. Plus, you have one of my knives. Let's say we've both been the steward of the same knife." Because it will outlast us both, sir. Sinister Knife says, "Serious highlight of my Blade show was just BSing with Shane and Bob." Yeah, that was fun, man. That was fun. Serious highlight, too. I remember that conversation well. Christoph Wilhelm says, "Now I know where you got it from, Bob." Where I got what from? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's true. It's true. And it is over here. It is. Going down a rabbit hole. All right, I'll find it later. I'll find it later. Lone Wolf, evening, Blade Bros. Well, evening, Lone Wolf. Is that how bruh is spelled? Okay, bruh. See, bruh, I was always a dude guy, not a bro guy, and it was bro until it became bruh. And my nephew, who's younger and cooler than I am, hipped me to that. Yes. Mike Flamian says, well, first of all, hello, Mike. Good to have you here. Oh, you have an A.G. Russell. Got me go. Oh, okay. All right. Because, and I say it like that, Mike, because there's this A.G. Russell toenail knife, elephant's toenail knife that looks really, really sweet. But I've never had an A.G. Russell. I respect the, the man and the myth. He died, I think it was last year. Designed so many knives and started his company and all that, selling knives and selling his own knives and other people's knives. And that Sting boot dagger that I show off, that's one of our master bathroom knives. It's made by CRKT now, but that's a design licensed by A.G. Russell, or he made that and licensed it to CRKT. Great design. He's designed a lot of classics. So that's pretty cool that an A.G. Russell was what brought the great Mike Flamian to the hobby. To the hobby. Hobby never quite worked for me. That a hobby is something you do, like, painting or maybe building knives in your spare time or something. I always feel like a hobby is something you do, not something you collect. That's something else, I think. Well, maybe not. I guess collecting stamps is a hobby, right? So this must be a hobby too. I don't know. Nick says, any chance of seeing the ingress? Unless it's not near you, I'm dying to see it. All right, you know what? I'm going to put something down really cool right on this, on the knife cam, and it'll take me 2 seconds to get the ingress. You ask frequently, and I forget, and I'm going to get it. So stand by. Hey, on the Edge 72, good to have you here, sir. Okay, I want you to feast your eyes on this for a second, and I will be right back. We need that sort of music that they do on TV in the old days when the signal cut out. John Spann, good to see you. A Gemini as a recommendation from Everyday Commentary. Well, man, if you get a recommendation from him, I mean, I think he is one of the most thoughtful and well read / written, if that makes sense. He writes really well. Guys in the EDC reviewing game, if you will. K Mason says, I was at bladesmithing demonstration through Rocky Mountain Smiths. Dude pulled out a knife with a hole in it, and what do you know? It was a Yojimbo too. I had to figure out who makes these. That is cool. All right, so K Mason is at a bladesmithing demonstration. All right, Rocky Mountain Smiths. Guy pulls out a Yojimbo. He's like, what is that? And that launches him in. That's pretty cool. Nick Martino, the M4 Yojimbo. I forgot about the G Carta SNG. I mean, I didn't forget about it, but in that moment, I was thinking about the and the Kubi Raven. That's right. All right, this thing is so cool. I wanted to pull it off the wall tonight just to have it, just in case something goes down. I'm ready. But no, I mean, seriously, look at that. It is such a beautiful artifact. I will forever. I'm forever in debt to my brother anyway, just because he's such an awesome guy. But the knives he's gotten me are Spyderco Native 5 gateway knife. That is a gateway. I could see how that could be a gateway knife. Wasn't mine here. Since we're talking about it, no, I'm gonna wait for a second because I want to do my pocket check. I want to do that. I want to keep the order. You got to keep the order. Happy Haptic EDC. Good to see you here, sir. What's good, Bobby? For the first knife that really gripped me is the same as yourself. The scared Bowie that lives in your in your backpack, as you've shown before. You're talking about the are you talking about the SOG Bowie? That's the one that I keep in my backpack. It's a 5-inch SOG Seal Pup, and it's that SOG Mac V SOG Bowie shape. Here's a Mac V SOG Bowie right here. It's that Bowie shape with the two peaks on the spine that just I don't know what it is about that shape. Well, I know it's those two peaks, but why does that why do I find that so appealing? I don't know. Dirk Warning, how you doing, sir? Howdy all. He says, I really got into it with the Spyderco police model when it came out in the late 80s. That's funny. I was just remembering the other day the first time I saw a Spyderco, and it was the police model, and it was in a bike shop in Philadelphia, and I was having something done, and the guy behind to my bike, and the guy behind the counter had it in his back pocket. He pulled it out, opened it up, and it had all the serrations, and it was that 4.25-inch blade, and he cut something, and he put it back in his pocket. And I already thought the guy was cool. I was like, this guy's, he was a cool bike dude. And, I thought he had cool bike style, if you will. And then he pulls out the knife, and I'm like, oh, what am I doing with my life? Why am I not walking around with that in my pockets or something similar? So I got something post haste, and I remember it. I wish I still had it. It was a Fury knife that I got in the King of Prussia Mall with my girlfriend at the time. And I carried it inside my belt, like you do in your pocket, but under my belt. Weird for a while. And then went to the pocket. Dave said a visit to the Randall shop in Orlando got me really hooked. But prior to that, the first knife I bought myself wasn't a Boy Scout blade, was a German cat knife. Those things are cool, around $10 from the local Army Navy. You can still get those, the cat knives. They have that black Delrin handle and a lock back and a really nice it's a lock back, but the tab protrudes, I believe, sits proud. And that's a cool knife. I need to get one of those and kind of put it in there with the open L's and some of the older, more traditional knives that I love. Blade Ogre says, read a Knives Illustrated article on great knives for the money and bought the Tangram Progression. Tangram is long gone, but I'm still here buying knives. Why is Tangram long gone? Tangram was sweet. I still have my Santa Fe. I just pulled that out the other day and was playing with it. Dirk says, carried it for years daily. Then maybe 5 years ago, I fell into this deep rabbit hole, and well, here I am. Yeah, you fell into a rabbit hole so deep that you introduced us to the likes of oh my gosh, well, I'm having a brain fart. Paul, oh my God, Phil Harvey. It's like, I know it's not Paul. Why do I always say Paul? I feel like there's a musician maybe named Paul Harvey, but anyway, you introduced us all or me anyway, to Phil Harvey with those giant, massive. I mean, you started sensible, and then you went all the way to the sublime, and then you've floated back down to the ether. And by that, I mean, you have a stunning collection, sir. Have a nice day. By the way, it was also cool to see your post of your son on his 32nd birthday. It was really cool to see. I don't know. You get to know someone a little bit, through the hobby or through this thing, but they obviously have a full and deep life outside of this, and it was cool to see that you have a 32-year-old son. You must be very proud. He seemed like a great guy. Have a nice day says, mine was a cold steel kukri. Oh, cold steel, you say? That I got probably 16 years ago. I had it lasered with the word kindness. Also, the RMJ Tactical Shrike. That's funny, Knife Dave. It reminds me, you mentioned RMJ. Well, they have their Warhammer, which is badass, and they call it Snuggles. It's kind of the same thing as putting kindness on the kukri. I like that a lot. Similar for me, Dirk broke my leak and did a little research and replaced, and bam, knife crackhead, says Sinister Knife. Yeah, I mean, it's a thin line between like totally ambivalent and totally obsessed. Happy Haptic EDC says sacred. Yes, the seal pup. Yeah. I got you. Yeah, that thing is awesome. Yeah. And any knife that has that Mac V SOG shape, I'm attracted to. But yeah, the seal pup has a little bit more belly towards the front than the classic that I showed you, and I love the way that one looks too. And I know you're like, why are you always talking about looks? I'm male, I'm visual, I went to art school, so yeah, it's a lot about looks. The knife that sent me down this rabbit hole was the Buck Revolution Plunge. Huh. Not sure I remember that. Oh, by the way, I got up, Nick, and I never showed you this. All right, let me show you the ingress right here. So this is the Niche Designs ingress, a very, very excellent knife, a very cool design, and one that came to me in such a way that I will never get rid of it. And I am sorry, Nick. I know Nick really, really digs this knife, but I really dig it too. And it's got sentimental value. And it was a gift. And I don't give away gifts. So sorry, man. But I love showing it off. I love that you love it. I love that you love it. That sounds like a line from a 70s TV show. I believe that you believe. Lone Wolf says, hey, Lone Wolf. Wait, did I say hello to you? I think I did. Well, anyway, hey, Lone Wolf. The knife that started it all for me was the Blackjack 1.7 with stacked leather handles. I sold a Blackjack 1.7 with cream-colored kind of natural micarta handles to Dave, this old sword. And I actually, I didn't sell it to him. I traded it to him for this. We had an interesting thing. Can you go back one, Jim? I just want to see how that finished out. I have it here in front of me as I remember. Oh, okay. All right, cool. Yeah. Oh, I love that knife. It's the Bark River made Blackjack, and it's modeled after the Randall number 1.7. Caleb says, I was hooked from my first knife, the Victorinox Super Tinker. Yeah, that Super Tinker is, I would bet that is their most popular knife. I would. I feel like that's just totally anecdotal, but I feel like on this show, when people see that, Nick, so nice. It's not a total guillotine, which I prefer. But I feel like when people on this show mention Swiss Army knives, it's frequently that Super Tinker. Agent Orange Peel, good to see you here, sir. I still have the knife that pushed me out of gas station knives, the Benchmade 722. It's been a good, fun, expensive journey. Haven't looked back since, he says. Yeah. Yeah. What a long, expensive trip it's been. Ron Starkey, good to have you here, sir. Bro, I bought 2 Tangram Progressions 2 years ago from Amazon. Are they really done? You can still buy some Amazon. I believe you can still get the Santa Fe. I just don't think they're making them. I think maybe they made a crap ton of them and put them out. I don't know. I don't think they're definitely not coming out with new models. And I'm pretty sure that like the plunge, the button lock, that blue aluminum button lock, I bet you can't get that anymore. Tangram was the cheaper Kaiser brand. Then it seems they left Kaiser and formed Concept. I do know that someone from Kaiser left and formed Concept, but I didn't know that it was Tangram. I would say if it is, man, they really upped their game when they because I do love Tangram. I do love the Tangram I had, and I had a Dirk Pinkerton Tangram, but the Concept knives. Oh, and he made Dirk Pinkerton he's got designs with a lot of people, but in any case, what I'm getting at is, yeah, it seems like they really upped their game because Concept knives are awesome. I really dig concept knives, and I think they're very well done. Redacted, good to have you with us, sir. The knife that really got me started was the legendary Paul knife, the Gerber release. I still have it to this day, a truly revolutionary, albeit strange knife. The Paul knife? What the hell is that? I'm going to have to look that up. That's a weird one. All right, let me tell you what I was carrying in my pocket today, otherwise known as a pocket check. Was the Paul knife. Gerber, you goofy bastards. All right, let's see here. If you're not familiar with the Paul knife, it's well worth to search it. Fascinating story. I will. I have it written on. I will check that out. That sounds interesting. Wow, Bob, you have an elephant's memory for every knife, trade, and sale. Still digging that 1-7. That's funny, man. It's like my mom used to say, and she actually really did say this. Most times people are like, Mama used to say, no, she didn't. But anyway, my mom actually did used to say, if you put as much attention into your schoolwork as you do into, and you fill in the line right now, we'll say knives, you'd be, you'd be in the National Honor Society, or you'd be going to Yale or whatever. I don't know. I don't know what she, but that was it. If you spent as much time and attention on your schoolwork as you did on then, and it's the same thing. Nothing has changed except, 35 years. Ronnie Starkey says, just checked. Tangram is still alive and well for work knives. Oh, shit. They're great. Go to Amazon, man. For work knives. Interesting. 9198 David says Spyderco, and thank you for doing the research, sir. 9198 David says Spyderco Paramilitary 2 got me hooked years ago. Finally made it to their HQ in Golden, Colorado last year. That sounds cool. I've been to Orlando twice, and I haven't been able to because they've been very tightly packed family trips. But there are people I'd love to see. Dylan Grace, go to Dylan Grace's place down in Orlando. I'd love to go to the Randall shop. I feel like there are a number of Florida knife makers, but I just haven't gotten a chance. On the Edge 72 says, for me, the Cold Steel Recon 1 with Axis Lock was the knife that got me hooked. I couldn't believe I spent $60 on a knife. That's funny that you say that. But little did I know it sparked a fire that has never gone out. On the Edge, 60 was the number that I remember. I remember it because it was 12 years ago when we moved here. And, it's a struggle. We just had a baby, and we were both freelancers, and there was a time there where we were both out of work, and it was like, oh shit. Oh my God. I don't even know what I was going. Jim, could you please just give me an assist? $60. That's right. I just went down memory lane a little too far. But yeah, 60. I remember buying a Recon 1, but the new one, the Demco Recon 1, for $60, and like at not the best time. And I remember like, oh God, if she notices this, I would just, it wasn't like I'm dead, I'm a dead man, she's gonna yell at me. It was more like I just, this was an unnecessary expense at a bad time. And yeah, so $60, I understand that that number in particular. That also happened to be how much it cost to fill my tank back then. Now it's $95, but Christopher Wilhelm says, as a youngin 40 years ago, had a gas station knife. The lockback made it a push dagger. Yes. In middle school, a classmate sold me a Bally song that looked like a pen when closed. How cool. My mom's overruled me on that one. That is hilarious. But that knife that has the lockback, is doing something very, 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 very similar, where it's a straight blade. Closes up into a folding blade, opens up into a straight blade, and then it has a half position. You can hold it like a fist punch dagger. KC, howdy Bob and all. Happy Auto Eve. Okay, so KC is also a Virginian, and tonight is Auto Eve. I love that. That is what June 30th will be known as from now on Auto Eve, because tomorrow on July 1st, the antiquated automatic law is gone. And thanks to Doug Ritter and Knife Rights, tomorrow we Virginians are ever so slightly more free. And this is the knife I'm going to be carrying tomorrow. And, I carried it out and about illegally a lot. And then I discovered it was illegal, and I still carried it a lot. And then I don't know when it happened a while ago. I suddenly got freaked out, and I was like, I don't want my life to be, if by accident, like, because I don't get in scrapes with cops, but what if something happened and I needed to use the knife, or I needed to defend myself with the knife, or it's a traffic stop and the knife is found, or anything like that, and I have a cop on the wrong day or something like that. I don't want to go down for this. When I have other options, let's just say. But I am thrilled to death that I can now carry this legally tomorrow. This is the original ProTech Rockeye. I don't know when it came out. I'd say about 7 years ago at this point. And then they later came out with the SBR, but it's a Les George automatic version of his Rockeye, or VSEP. The VSEP was the mid-tech version of his custom, the Rockeye. Basically, it's all this right here. So KC, I think KC is going to be carrying his new blue, beautiful drop point Hogue. I can't remember the name of it. It's got a name, and it's kind of a cool name, but I can't remember. But I have seen the video, Casey, and I'm excited for you to be carrying that. I will be carrying this. We will be brothers in arms across the state of Virginia. Yes. All right. I could also get, I carry this and this, all my ProTechs at once. That'd be that would be breaking my rule about carrying two of the same brand knife. But Stooley J, good to have you here, Stooley. Oh yeah, the Paul knife is a legend for sure. Doug Ritter has a write-up about it on his website. His patented lock he called the Axial. Pretty cool invention. Oh man, I got to check that out. I feel like a chunk of knife history. I'm sure I know that there are plenty, but that seems like a chunk I should fill in. Quack, good to have Quack with us. Them Kiwis got me hooked with the Sword Mini Peasant, probably still lying around here somewhere, as I sold it to a local for him to practice sharpening. Oh, cool. Yeah. Those are cool. I always wondered if they were sharp. You look at the Sword, and I have that big Sword von Temsky Bowie. That is awesome. And it is a thick, fat slab of steel, and it comes to a thick behind the edge Appleseed edge or convex edge. But man, with some force behind it, you could lop anything in half with that thing. I was always curious what the edge was like on that peasant's knife. Tim Simcoe, good to have you with us, sir. Sorry, I got back from fireworks. What's going on, folks? Oh, nice. You got fireworks. We just read that the place we usually go for our fireworks has to cancel them due to safety issues, which to me means I think they cost tens of thousands of dollars to put up, and I think maybe that's the issue. Knives Fast, KC says, I will have my Hogue Ballista, that's what it is, and EMP EDC Slenderman Warney. That's right. First of all, I love that thing. That is a cool little knife, and as I understand, it's gone, daddy gone, but I hope he comes back out with it. In the meantime, I might pick up. I might buy the Axial Gear Warncliffe out the front. That looks pretty sweet. Nice size blade. I can't believe we're 33 minutes in, and I haven't shown you that today I carried this amazing and one of my all-time favorites, oldie but goodie. I've had this for a number of years now. This is the Hinderer XM24 Warncliffe. I don't know what generation it is, but it's the generation right before the Triway. But this, unlike my Bowie XM24, has really good flipping action. Except right there, I didn't quite get it, but it really flips better than any other non-Triway Hinderer that I've had, both large and small, or I should say XM18 or 24. and I really love it. And that blade shape to me is just, God, it is gorgeous to me. That's like the perfect Wharncliffe. It's got an aggressive tip, but a fully flat edge. It's got that nice swale up on top. It's really beautiful, graceful lines. Very nice swedge. And I must admit, I should have brought the my 18 Warney, but I do prefer this knife with the choil. And do I mean in terms of using? Of course not. I mean in terms of looks, because I can be quite shallow. I like the looks of the Warney with the choil and with the extra length of this. I feel like on all Hinderer knives, I know I've beaten this horse dead many times, but on Hinderers, I certainly like the 4-inch, the longer blades better. Only because I feel like it gives the blade the distance to fully express itself, and it doesn't look weird or stubby in any way. It looks long, graceful, and beautiful. What did I use it for? Nothing. It just rode around with me. I opened it and closed it, and I opened it and I closed it. The only knife that got any use today was this CJRB Scoria. I had a weird carry today. Going into very hot weather here, or approaching damn hot weather here, my carry of fixed blades has waned a little bit. But I might be getting some cool shirts here soon. Hey, James, good to have you here, sir. And I think that's funny. I mean, it's a funny thing to say. I might be getting some good shirts here. But what I mean by that is at work, I tend to tuck in my shirts unless I have a shirt that is kind of made to be untucked. And I'm going to seek those out so that I can go on carrying a fixed blade knife. Nick EDCer says, oh my, carrying my XM24 Bowie, but that Wharncliffe. I think, Nick, yours is you got the blue handle 24, right? In the Triway from the recent release. Is that right? The CJRB Scoria. I love this knife a whole lot. Chris McNair, who's on right now, I traded Riffle for this. I know I mentioned that all the time, but hey, why not? Every knife has a story, and this thing here is the blade stock itself is nice and thin. That edge, I mean, that grind, even though it's a saber grind, it's not going all the way up it is so thin and slicey and nice. And then that swedge adds to the penetrative power of the tip, and it also, yes, looks good. It looks really good. One improvement of this would be some fine jimping right here. Not that I need it, but I like it. I'm a jimping guy. Do like the jimping, and I have dug. I do like this micarta handle, though it appears to have come from two different batches, or maybe this is the backside. I know that shouldn't matter, but I don't know. In my own experience, I have found that sometimes it does. Maybe that's cheaper micarta. I don't know. It doesn't bother me at all. But the contouring, everything. So Nick Shabazz had this very knife that he reviewed, not this exact knife. I apologize. One that they sent to him, and he gave it a very lukewarm review, and I was surprised. I thought he'd like it, but he did bring up a good point. It is on the higher end. You know, it's like $80, I think, and maybe I could see having a bit of a gripe with that price for the example that he had. Chunky Cut, good to see you here. Hello, amigo, he says. Amigos. His micarta was kind of, he felt like it was too soft and fabricy. Michael Morgan, good to have you here, sir. Evening, Bob. Today's carry, Sitivian ST115, which I won right here on the Knife Junkie. That is a cool one. Thank you, Bob and Dave. It is our pleasure, and I know it is Dave's pleasure also. That is a cool looking one. Actually, both Sitivians that we gave away were really sweet, and both came from Dave. Sitivian, let's talk about Sitivian for a sec, but before we do, well, no, let's do this because I will lose track, but I have one more thing to show you for the pocket check. But before that, I know that I've shown you the Growler. This is a prototype from Lefty EDC and Colin Maison Pierre, and it's the Devo Knives Growler, and I'm lucky enough to have this for a short period of time to to. I actually have used it, which I never do with knives, especially prototypes. But I couldn't help it. That blade, and it works great. I used it for cardboard. Cardboard didn't even mash up the. Anyway, my whole reason for pulling this out is that this is one of two different prototypes. They got prototypes from Kubi and from Shielden. They love the Shielden prototype. I also do too. And that's who's making the growler for them. That's who will be making the growler for them. Shielden knives, they have some pretty darn cool ones under their own shingle, but I love that they're going to be doing OEM stuff. I didn't know that they did OEM stuff. Eugene Krabs, good to have you here, Eugene. I got the lightning out the front. Yep, nice. At the gun knife show. Got me interested enough to do some searching and got a pair of 3. It was over from there. You started with a lightning out the front. That's a pretty cool knife. I had one of those, gave it to my brother. He loves it. Chunky Cut says, today's new arrival, the ZT0640. Well, first of all, I love the 640, but okay. Okay. WBW with MXG gear clip, very nice, and Lion Steel Karambit. Oh, nice. But wait, the 640 WBW. So that is with a different handle scale. Is that right? Well, let me know. I think I just saw somewhere this new. It's an exclusive somewhere, maybe. I don't know. Okay, this is the last thing I carry. Jack Wolf knives. I went back to the classic. I carried this today. The sharpshooter. Jack didn't use it for anything except it was an emotional support knife. Let's just put it that way. You know, sometimes, especially at the end of the fiscal year, sometimes you need an emotional support knife. And this blue dark matter carbon fiber soothed my soul, and just the feel of it right here and the look of it and the shape of it. This is such a beautiful knife. Jack Wolf Knives, ladies and gentlemen. Jack Wolf Knives. They're making such beautiful. He is making such awesome knives. Designing them, really taking the classics and tweaking the hell out of them and perfecting them per his own experience and expertise in owning custom slip joint knives. So, man, I love what he's doing so much. And now he's got a new one coming out, the Midnight Jack. And if you haven't seen it, it's awesome. It's a coffin-shaped handle, hence Midnight. I think it's like a, werewolf theme kind of thing. Coffin-shaped handle with a gorgeous, I think it's a double bolster handle also, with a really nice sheep's foot blade. Just it's a knockout. Check it out. Blade Ogre says, carrying the ASK Jefferson. Is that the knife? Is that a fixed blade knife that is set up somewhat like a? Oh no, that's the Colonel. Okay, I don't know what this knife is then. The ASK Jefferson, the Protec Brend 3, love that one. The 80 20.5 shark foot, got mine right here with my little paracord fob on it. A kinder, gentler shark's foot. The Spartan Palace, the Bark River PSK in Magna Cut, the Hinderer XM18 recurve. I love that knife. I want that knife. And the Bradford Guardian 3-inch, okay, or Bradford Guardian 3 in carbon fiber with LT Wright Jessmuck. My goodness gracious, sir. Oh, I didn't know that LT Wright made Jessmuck. Is that a Chris Tanner Prepared Mind 101 design? It must be with the Jessica reference. I don't know who Jessica was. It better be his wife, because he names a lot of knives Jessica. Jose Gonzalez, he used to name on his review channel knives that he loved. Say he loves a Becker or whatever 16, and he really, really loved it. He'd call it a Jessica, like the top of the heap. And he'd have his Jessica models, and then he started naming the models he was designing Jessica. I'm like, that better be his wife or girlfriend or whatever, or girlfriend if he's not married, that is. Jose Gonzalez, good to have you here, Jose. How you doing? Hello, everyone, he says. Well, hello right back at you. Christoph Wilhelm says, definitely getting the growler. Yes. Outstanding work knife. And let me show you something cool about this as I put my pocket check away. Oh, and you can let me know what you were carrying too. But a cool thing about this knife is it's got a really, okay, you look at this knife and you think, oh, that's a big belly blade. That's a really broad blade, and it's nice and thin. It starts out reasonably thin, but I mean, it gets very stupid thin behind the edge and is flat ground. Theirs will have, it will not have the mirror, or not the mirror, but it won't have that high satin polish. It'll have a stone wash, and I think one of them will be coated. But what I'm getting at is you see the big belly and you see the broadness of the blade. You think slicing and you think slashing, or maybe I shouldn't put it that way, but like draw cutting or whatever you like to use a belly for. But you think of the slicey aspect, but you also think of the push cut aspect. But look at the point. It's got a great point, and it's stout and sturdy when you look at it from the top. But when you look at it from the front and you see those three lines coming together, it's so thin behind the edge. This is a great point, but it's not a, dagger-like needle type point. Say you needed to cut into a like one of those super nasty clamshell packages. I mean, to me, those always I don't like cutting into, because I'm always afraid they're going to give. They seem to put up a lot of resistance, and then they give a whole lot, and you can end up, you got to be careful when you open them up. I've had bad experiences, at least in the day. And say you needed to get into one of those, this would have you in good stead, hold you in good stead. You could also definitely use this in a self-defense situation. I know that's not the intended use of it. I get it, but why, I can't look at a hammer without thinking of that, martial application. So this knife has it in spades, even though, did I just cut myself? No, even though it is definitely not that. It's an EDC harder, relatively hard use work knife that has awesome action, good materials, great design, and will be offered at a reasonable price. I know they're aiming for just north of 100. Or under, if they can get it down. But very cool knife. Nomadic Adventures says, actually a great marketing phase. Emotional support knife. Witty Bob. Oh, thank you. I have to have those at work so that I you flip. I also keep one of those hand squeezers at work. Everything's great. Not that I'm not complaining. I have a good job, and I definitely like the people I work with, and I'm lucky to have a job. What can I say? And a good one. So there you go. So I shouldn't complain. Blade Stuff. Good to have you here, Blade Stuff. I don't know why your name just made me giggle, but Blade Stuff. We're right to the point. What are you all about? I'm about Blade Stuff. Good evening, Bob and crew. Sebenza 21 Tonto. Very nice. I have right now in my pocket, because for the pocket check, I have to pull it out of my pocket, and I have to have something in my pocket. So you and I are of similar mind. Mine is the clip point. Sebenza 21 Tonto. And by the way, I love Chris Reeve knives, Tontos. Spyderco Sage 5. Sage 5. That is the one with the compression lock, right? Victorinox Fieldmaster for me today. Keep up the good work. Thank you, Blade Stuff. I appreciate that. You keep up the good work too. I have a feeling that whatever you're doing a stand-up job. Chunky Cut says ZT0640 WBW just dropped last week or so. Factory special series. Blackwash blade. Okay, I should have figured that out. Blackwash blade shouldn't it be BWB, Blackwash blade? Oh, wait, there's more. Okay. Wait. Blackwash blade and frame, black and white carbon fiber, all black hardware. That sounds classy. It's kind of a take on the tuxedo theme. I like it. Kevin Moore, how you doing, man? Good to have you with us with the knife in the mouth. I do like that pose. What's happening to you beautiful bunch of junkies? I'm plumb tickled to be in attendance with the lot of you. I'm plumb tickled to be in attendance with the lot of you. I got to countrify the boys. Mike Flamian says, Pocket Check is a premium folder, the big one. The keychain. Okay, all right. All right, so you got the Shirogorov, you got the you got the Victorinox on the keychain, you got the Spyderco Arc neck knife, and I'm betting you have the Model 14 Randall knife. Am I right? I mean, I know I'm right. I think I just added the fixed blade. I don't think you mentioned a fixed blade at all, but Blame Dexter says, hey, Blame Dexter, good to have you here and your freaky dog cat thing. I can't tell what that is. And if it's a beloved pet, I mean no offense. It's just small and I don't have my glasses on. Blame Dexter says, I've been waiting in the shadows to pounce on the right Jack Wolf knife. The Midnight Jack is the one. It is, you know it then. Getting the purple CF because Mace Windu is a very interesting character in Star Wars. Mm-hmm. You had me until Ace Windu. Who's that? Is he a purple? Does he have a purple costume kind of? I do love purple and that carbon fiber. Holy cow. That looks beautiful. I mean, that purple carbon fiber, that's going to go like hotcakes. Jay says, today I had the Hogue Deca Warney and a Deep Cuts Cutlery Little Rascal in Rex 121 and Burlap Micarta. Deep Cuts Cutlery Little Rascal. I don't know what the heck that is. Haven't seen one. Sorry, I keep shaking my table. I think I need to figure out who they are because that sounds cool. Is that a small fixed blade? I'm guessing. Tim Simcoe says, I was doing hard work today, so it was the CQC8 for emotional support. Very nice. Man, I miss my CQC8. I do. I got rid of it because I thought I wanted one with a swedge, and then I never ended up getting one. And then I got rid of my Horseman. I never quite understood why the number 8 or why the CQC8 has such a small wave, but the Horseman has a nice big full-size wave. Don't get it. But I love the knife, and I miss having it in my collection. Perhaps that's why I ended up with this one. This ZT is very much like that. A bit, anyway. A bit. Not at all. I mean, similar. With the blade is similar. Okay, the blade is a little bit similar. That's it. The handle is not. KC says the Frag Nimble X and the Jig Tie Penguin. Yeah. KC had a good shorts today. Was it a short? I think it was a short on YouTube, where he was showing his carry, and they did go together for sure. Those two knives, that exclusive tie penguin frame lock from traditional pocket knives, I think, with the jigged titanium. I love that. I love the blend of the old-fashioned texturing with the modern materials, and they were a good-looking couple. Shane, good to see you here, Shane. Late again, damn it. Not that late. Hey, my in-laws are Bolivian, so you want to see late? Actually, they all seem to have gotten very on time, which is weird because when I met them, I mean, I missed my own rehearsal dinner for my wedding. So they have gotten great. I should not complain because I might bring some, and I come from a family where if you're early, you're late. So that was a fun kind of adjustment. James, good to have you here, James. We have James Moore in the house. Hello, all, he says. Mark Ridgewell, good to have you here, sir. Got a CKF Evo vibe. Oh, God. What does? This? I wish this were mine. This is Kev of Lefty EDCs. He loaned this to me, and it's so great. It is so great. Knives Fast. Got to run. Great show. Happy Auto Eve. Happy Auto Eve to you. I believe KC's going live later tonight, around midnight or right before, to celebrate the Virginia switch ban. The Virginia automatic knife ban law is kaput in an hour and 6 minutes, and I'm going to go running down the street covered in automatic knives. Say, you can't do anything about it. Can't do anything about it. Sinister Knife says 3V 20.5 Baby Shark filled my recycle bin with 90 gallons of cardboard confetti today. Very nice. What's a baby shark? Is that what they're calling just the 80 20.5? Or is this something else? Did you chop one of these down? I'm interested. Civivi Brazen Tanto. Love that. I just gave my brother mine. And it was in the same colors as my high school and the high school that he went to, that maroon and black. And I dig that knife. And I don't know. I guess I had a moment of a welling up of generosity. Civivi Brazen Tonto. Para 3 lightweight murdered out. Does that break any rules? No. How's your conscience feel? That's your first indication. No, that's a good one. Different locks. I don't know about blade coating, but that doesn't really matter. Different locks, different brands, different sizes, kind of different uses. So yeah, that's a perfect non-violation. Chris says the ask is a lot of fun and it's my main slip joint now. Very useful. Cannot wait to put blue scales on it, though. I need to know what this ask is. What is that? Carried my 9198 David carried my Yojimbo, my Spyderco Yojimbo in 20 CV, Microtech Socom Elite Auto. Oh, in D2. I want one of those. Is that an older one in D2? And Kubi Drake in M390 today. So that's interesting. Microtech Socom Elite Auto in D2. And there was a time, and I remember when D2 first came out, it was a big deal. Like that's, the D2 on this ProTech Rockeye was kind of like, by the time it got on the Rockeye, I wouldn't say it was premium, but it was still a highly respected steel. So I'm curious if this Microtech Socom Elite, and Microtech only uses like kind of the most premium steels, I believe. They just kind of rotate them. I'm curious as to whether that Elite Auto is an old one. Do tell. And a Kubi Drake. I'm not sure. Oh yeah, I know what the Drake is. That is a cool knife. As a matter of fact, it's funny. I just was drawing out a knife and I was like, that is cool. That is a really, I've seen that before. And that's what it was. It was that Drake. Okay. Christoph says Freyden 4V Manix 2. What's Freyden? Freyden 4V. That sounds like some scary, super advanced steel. Mojave Cormorant. So that's a Mojave Outdoor exclusive Cormorant by Kaiser. Those are cool. Those are cuggly. Cool but ugly. The Mindo Sparrow Pry. Brass Maritac PFL. I believe that's a light, right? And first generation Rexford utility knife. Those are cool. Those Rexford utility knives are cool. And Todd Rexford, his knives go for super high amounts of money. So I remember when that came out and I was like, really? Like I don't remember what the cost was, but it was definitely north of $200 for one of those. And then I sort of realized, well, this is like the affordable thing coming from this absolute master. So Oregon Knife Guy says, well, hello, Oregon Knife Guy. It's a pleasure having you with us, sir. Had my Spidey Chef as primary and my Yojimbo in my back pocket next to my wallet. Yojimbo in your back pocket next to your wallet. Okay. Now, the reason I say that like that is that I always think of wallet, or for me, knives that fit in my pocket next to wallets have to be short and thin. Preferably short, but definitely thin, because my wallet is so fat, bruh. No, I'm just kidding. But my wallet is wide enough that if I can put them in there like this, that feels ideal without having it stack up and without having to worry about it when I sit and all that. Okay, so Yojimbo, and to me the Yojimbo has a sort of a wideish footprint, but you're already breaking a rule. So why not just put your Yojimbo in your back pocket? And a Shot and Morgan gun stock in my front left, and a Cataragus pen knife. That is cool. In my fifth pocket knife. In my fifth pocket. First of all, Cataragus, That is cool. That's an old school knife. The Morgan Gunst Shot and Morgan. That's cool. Those were at one time made by Queen Cutlery, and then another time I think GEC did the manufacturing for Shot and Morgan, I think. But the rule you broke was the two Spydercos, and I think you know that. But let me show you this. This is my Spyderco Spidey Chef as tweaked by Mike Emler. I was ready to give this knife away because though I love it, I love the handles. I love how mine have snail trailed and just really aged beautifully. I could never get this knife adequately sharp. I don't know. It was like the sharpening equivalent of writer's block. I just could not manage to get this sharp for some reason. And the blunted tip, though it looks nice, it didn't look nice enough. I wanted the point. And I saw a video right after this knife came out of a saltwater fisherman in a kayak. I think he was in a kayak. He caught some big fish, and he pulls out his Spidey Chef, but he had put a point on it, much like this. And he proceeds to gut the fish and do all this stuff with that knife. And I remember thinking, ooh, that makes the Spidey Chef even more appealing to me personally. So that's what this little customizing job is what saved this knife for me. Plus, he put a wicked edge on it, and now I can cut with it. I don't know why I just could not make that LC200N sharp. It's not like it's like some ridiculous, crazy hard steel. Caleb says, today I had the Keynesian non-flipper stray, nice. Serge Panchenko mid-tech bean, very nice. And the custom Swiss Army knife. That's cool. I like this custom Swiss Army knife thing that seems to be happening. And also, I'm sorry, Jim, can you go back one just real ultra quick? Oh, the Keynesian. God, those are really, really beautiful knives. And I'm starting to they're starting to perk my ears up, my eyes up a little bit. Yeah, that's all I want to say. Thank you, Jim. James says, today I carried two pocket knives. I carried the Gerber Shark Belly lockback pocket knife, and I carried the Benchmade Bug Out 535 OR. So that's the orange one, 2103 pocket knife. That's awesome. James, I love the Benchmade Bug Out. I love my Bug Out. I didn't bring mine out tonight, but such a great knife because that's one of those knives where you never have an excuse not to have a knife on you. It's thin. It's super sharp. It's handy, and you can stash it in the waist if you need to. Just get it out of the way. But great selection. And I don't know that Shark Belly, the Gerber Shark Belly. I'm gonna have to look that one up. Shane carried my Maximet PM2 today. That's nice. I don't know Maximet. I've never used Maximet. Is it like crew wear? And I say that I know. I'm just curious. Is it like crew wear? That's kind of the impression I've always gotten. Very hard to sharpen, very high edge retention, and somewhat tough. Is that right? Let me know if anyone knows out there. Ket McNesshart. Today I'm carrying a Tops Camp Creek Picaroon Jack-Tar. The Picaroon knives are cool. Stasa introduced me to those. Kershaw Leak, Buck Budgie, Griptilian, and Eldris. All right, Ketmuk, is this a race to beat Knife Ogre or Blade Ogre? I'm sorry, Blade Ogre. Let's see. So that's the Eldris. That's one. That's the neck knife from Mora. The Griptilian. Okay, that's two. The Buck Budgie, that's the cool little S35 VN that came out 2 years ago, I believe. The Kershaw Leak, that's 4. The Picaroon Jack-Tar, that's 5. And the Tops Camp Creek. I don't know the Camp Creek. That's 6. Very nice, Ketmuk. By the way, Ketmuk is, you should follow him on Instagram. He's had some beautiful knives in the wilderness shots lately. What are you on a camping trip, or were you just on a camping trip? Very nice looking stuff. Very nice looking pictures there, man. And beautiful carry. Chunky Cut says, on Thursday, I'm just going to strap on a Pelican case to my back before I start typing on here to keep up with some of you guys. Yeah, exactly. Today I have. That's me opening up an old school briefcase. Samuel Jackson, Purple Saber. Okay, wait. Because what was I asking? Oh. Samuel Jackson purple. What are you talking about? I know I asked you about this and if it was cut down. Samuel Jackson purple. I don't know what the hell you're talking about, but that's probably me. Oh, thank you. Thank you. I got you. Okay, that's the problem. I'm not new Star Wars literate. I am not. I admit that I've seen them all with my wife and daughters and slept through most of them because that's how I watch movies. That's how all DeMarco men watch movies. We watch them in aggregate over many sittings. It's just a thing, unless you go to the theater, and then I'm awake the whole time. Manny Z says, well, first of all, Manny, it's a pleasure having you, sir. I've got the Demco 3V Titanium 80 20.5 and a Z-Wear Shaman. Very nice. That's a nice combo right there. That I'm just sending that Demco 3V Titanium Knife Center exclusive off to Jock across the shock. He let me borrow his, and now he gets to use it. Blade Stuff says, come on, fellas, let's hit that like button. Yeah, come on, man. It's right there. It's right there. Just hit it. Unless you're seething, unless you're sitting there like, it's this guy. I just don't. Antonio, good to have you here, Antonio. Mundarain, the CQC 45. Oh my gosh. All right. So this one, every once in a while, well, I can't. My keyboard's all jacked up. Jim, could you please look up what a CQC 45 is? I know it's an Emerson, but the 45, I don't know. Is this, I have a feeling, Antonio, that I'm about to go, oh my God, that one. Is this like a recurve clip pointy Tonto? I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I got to know what that is, but I love it. I love that you were carrying it. What can I say, man? Let's see. Oh, that looks oh, that's cool. So that's an exclusive through Bear pistol. Is that right? The Bear Emerson CQC 45 combat pistol and knife package. Oh, that's awesome. That is cool. Nice, man. And you know, if any folding knife designer / maker knows how to design a clip point, it is Ernest Emerson, man. He's got a lot of clip points in his catalog, and they're all sweet. They are to a knife sweet. And I think it's cool that he can pull out so much variety. I believe his very first one, I say this with some frequency. I usually think his first one was the 13. I think that was his second one. I think the first one was the clip point Emerson that was took its design cues or inspired by the AK-47 bayonet. Oh, look at that. Oh, that's a honey, man. I like that. Look at that. I like it with the gray G10, but look at those handles. That's a okay. We know Emerson knives to be extremely, ergonomic, but looking at that handle looks to me like it is more of a blend of that, what I was talking about at the top of the show, the neutral versus the committed. It's a kind of a blend of that. And I've seen him relax a little bit on some of his contouring and stuff. Yep. Little Rascal from DCC is a small fixed blade. Okay, cool. He seems heat treat and grind focus, similar to SPK. That's exactly what I was thinking when you were saying that. Though lacks SPK's aesthetic. Yeah, I gotta say, Alex's knives are very simple and very, very beautiful. And part of, I have a shark. And part of what is so beautiful about that is how simple it is and how perfectly it works and does its job. There's no pomp and circumstance to it. But it kind of like in a Sebenza way, just does its job and is built beautifully. And, I know you can get it with burl handles and you can go crazy with the Sebenza, but just a regular Sebenza is just like that. And I like that quality. Blame Dexter says, yeah, His lightsaber is purple. That's cool. I really enjoy his fighting style. Ace Windu. Mace. You said Mace Windu, right? He's pretty much modified a form called Juyo, which was forbidden for a Jedi to learn and modified to better suit a Jedi. Huh. That's interesting. Juyo sounds like it might be some sort of martial art. And I think it's cool that it sort of parallels, our earthen history, where lots of different systems of combat were outlawed, like Kali in the Philippines. And then they started practicing Kali with, instead of sticks and knives and swords and machetes, they started practicing with bandanas. And it looked like they were doing these very delicate dances. And as Danny Nosanto tells it, the Spaniards laughed at them until they fought them and realized, oh, these guys have just been practicing the whole time. Mr. Beyond the Beard, good to have you here, Mr. Beyond the Beard. Ask, is Medford's customizable version of a... Oh, that's cool. And I like the thing he did with the words, like ask, because it's customizable. Ask us what you want and we'll give it to you. And but also it's Swiss Army knife, all switching around. That's cool. I haven't seen that. I did not see, and I went to the Medford area at or the Medford booth at Blade Show and looked at the big burly knives that I love, but it was crowded at that time, so I moved along and I did not find that. That sounds cool. Nick Martino says it's the multi-tool from Medford that's interchangeable and made from all CPM metals. Badass. Great idea. Hopefully it's not like the size of a brick and weighs 500 pounds. But Frandon is a lock company up here in New York. Frandon is a lock company. Oh. Frandon is a sprint run and they're hollow ground. Very cool. Oh, Frayden. Okay. Hollow ground and very cool. I love hollow ground. I do love hollow ground. Thanks, Shane. Christoph Wilhelm says Frayden Lock Co. exclusive. The Maritac is a mini 90-degree light. Oh, cool. And the Ruck is a Giltech utility razor. Oh, Giltech. I thought the Ruck was a... I was mistaken. Giltech utility razor. Oh, does it just take a certain kind of razor and the Ruck is indeed the Rexford utility knife? Or am I totally wrong? It's been a long week. Mr. Beyond the Beard says, had my blacked out ProTech Malibu reverse Tonto or bellied Warncliffe, Boker Kalishnikov, sub cleaver, and a Victorinox compact. Okay, wait, hold it. ProTech Malibu, Boker Kalishnikov sub, so really small one in cleaver, and Victorinox compact. That's a nice carry. I think I need to get me a Malibu because I want a nice button lock knife. And what I really want is the Mordax. I love the Mordax, but I want the Mordax. I want a smooth-handled Mordax. I don't want the blue one. So basically, I want a smooth-handled black Mordax reground. And that's just so much work, to find. How am I going to find that? So maybe I need to get a Malibu and just suck it up that it's not as big as I would love it to be. Happy Haptics EDC says, Bob, it's Keen-isan, not Keynesian. Did I say Keynesian like the economics? Keynesian. What did I say? Keynesian? I must have said something like that. All right. Well, thank you. Keynesian. All right. Enough of that. But thank you. I appreciate that. Just like Dave, Dave finally set me straight on Tonto, and I'm really making myself say Tonto. Will be good to have you here. Will be. I had my Grimsmo Norseman, Kaiser Begleiter XL, Civivi Chevalier. I'm cleaning my Nimble X that came in right now. That came today right now. God, that's awesome. That's awesome. Well, first of all, I'm honored that you're cleaning this most prized brand new knife whilst listening to the show, but also that Grimsmo Norseman, Begleiter XL and Chevalier. That's a nice carry, and those are, well, at least the the Kaiser and the Grimsmo, those are two pretty 4-inch size knives, right? 4-inch bladed knives. You are not under knifed today, sir. Right now is the Cold Steel Talwar large OD green scales and full veft. Oh, dude, I would love to see that have a knife day. That sounds awesome. Those vef, if you're not familiar, vef, what he's referring to there is vef serrations. Is it Jeff Vef? Or am I making that? What was the knife maker Vef's first name? The guy who developed these serrations. They're big serrations, and they're oriented backwards. And man alive, they are very, very effective. And if you want to see VEF style serrations in use for their effectiveness, go to Hisatsu 5 on YouTube. Hisatsu 5. He and his brother have always been into cold steels for the last 10 years. I mean, I've been watching them for a long time. And they're into modifying their cold steels and putting VEF serrations on their big cold steels. So that sounds absolutely sweet, man. Love it. Tim Simcoe says, I'm assuming the Spidey chef had a blunt tip because it was meant for kitchen use, and they just assumed you would try to stab your floor with it. Exactly. They're like, don't even bother putting a tip on it. He'll just break it anyway. You're exactly right, sir. Mark Herrera, good to see you, sir. Hello, Bob and everyone. I'm carrying a Tucson TS228 and a Manly Comrade in S90V slip joint. I love the Manly knives. I love a Manly Comrade. I have not owned one, but when Manly's Bulgarian, right? When they first came out and kind of made a little splash, and kind of like everyone who was really into Spyderco at the time, Enduras and such, really liked that knife. So very much piqued my interest. And then they somehow, I don't remember what it is, they somehow changed their US distribution scheme. But cool knives. Mark Ridgewell says, gotta run. Have a great weekend and happy 4th of July. Hey, Mark, thank you, sir. Have a great night. Thanks for joining us, and have a wonderful, wonderful 4th of July, sir. Oregon Knife Guy says, ask American Service Knife. Oh, okay. Thank you. American Service Knife. I'll write that down so I can look her up later, so that I know what y'all's is talking about. Oh, American Service Knife. There we go. Greg Medford, love him or hate him, he knows how to come up with interesting things and market his stuff. Blame Dexter says, yep, it's pretty much its own martial art. There are 7 different types of lightsaber combat in Star Wars. Each has its own weaknesses and strengths. Dexter, are they based on real fighting styles that they've imported into the universe? Because you know that when they're training for the movies, they're using a blend of whatever, probably HEMA and Japanese swordsmanship and Kali, probably. I'm curious if the Star Wars universe did that. Chunky Cut says, good night, all. Better go to bed now before I hit the buy now button on my cart. Do it, Chunky Cut. Do it. Do it. Just kidding. Don't be responsible. Now, did I say don't do it and be responsible, or did I say don't be responsible? That's up for you to choose. Good night, sir. Have a fine evening and a great weekend in 4th of July. Nick Martino says, I love ... my Malibu. Yes, I know. You show your Malibu a lot, and yours is one of the ones that kind of every time I see it, I'm like, maybe I should put the effort in to get one. And then I'm like, it's not big enough. And that's what helps me not get it. Called it the knife that ruined me. I literally could never get another knife and totally be happy with my Malibu. Oh, I see what you mean. I could totally never get another knife. I see what you said. That's cool. Well, then Tom Veff, thank you. Jeff Veff would be cruel parents out of Oregon City, Oregon. Okay. Tom Veff. going to visit him in August. How cool. Are you going to have him VEF anything while you're there? That is cool. Another day with the Umnumzan for me. I'm losing my junkie status by carrying the same blade so far. No. If you were carrying 2 Umnumzans for weeks, that would be no. I to the contrary, I'm impressed by your discipline, and I aspire to such discipline. But I have yet to do that, or yet to get it. You don't get it, Bob. You develop it. I have yet to develop it. Christopher Wilhelm says, yeah, that ask is really cool. It also looks like it comes in a nice variety of cover material, or not materials, but cover colors. Caleb says, speaking of Swiss Army knives, I'm getting close to finishing my first batch of customized Swiss. Oh, that's cool. Classic SDs. Hang on. Let me see something here. I totally forgot to show you this. We were talking about the one that started it all. This is the one that got me hooked initially. I mean, I've always been hooked, but this is the first nice knife I ever bought. Have a nice day. Knife Day says, I'm going to the Battleship, Iowa tomorrow for barbecue and fireworks. That's cool, man. That sounds fun. That's a good way to spend a Friday. Ketmuk says, I'm in Iowa and having barbecue while shooting off fireworks. Jeez, man. You guys are living the life of Riley here, man. Very nice. Have a wonderful time while you're there. And thanks for tuning in. I'm going to have to speak louder than the fireworks. Have a Knife Day says, getting some knives sharpened. I have a CRKT ritual with him now, getting fully veffed. Jeez, that sounds crazy. That big curving blade. Actually, that sounds great for that big curving blade. It might be the really way the way to ensure that you're getting what you're slashing at. So this is my cold steel Tonto from made in Japan that I bought at the Randall Park Mall in outside Cleveland, which is now, who knows what they built there. They demolished it years ago, but you used to be able to buy these kind of things. This was at Remington Cutlery, and I crushed on this knife for so long and just looked at it, pictures in catalogs. And then when this came to that store and I saved up, I remember I spent $115 on this, and that was stupid, crazy money. And for me, I think I was like a sophomore or junior in high school when I got this. So yeah, this was definitely one of the biggies. Still razor sharp. It was pristine for years, and then I tried to make a Kydex sheath for it and scratched that blade, which just sticks in my craw to this day. But still just an awesome knife. And this is the one that started it all for Cold Steel too. I love that company. Well, I love their knives. Okay, and then next, this was the first knife that I spent, like, this was crazy money when I spent it, and it was and I had to have it because when I saw it, I was like, I gasped. I was like, I just drew that knife. Like, I drew that knife like 100 times in different variations, and so I had to buy it. James says, slept overnight on the Iowa with my son's Cub Scout pack. Didn't bring a knife though. Oh, that's cool. Sleep overnight on a battleship like that. That's cool. That's funny that two people are talking about the battleship Iowa. Ketmuk's in Iowa. Must be Providence. Have a Knife Day says, don't you wish that we could go back to the 80s and load up on some classic Cold Steels? Yes. Yeah, the 80s and the 90s. Like, there's plenty from the 90s. I'd love to get a Black Rhino. I want a Black Rhino. I want. Kevin Moore says, left pocket ProTech Runt. Excuse me. Runt 5 black, and the Quill XL, very nice. Right is the orange CMB Predator with the orange ALOX Swiss Army Knife Cadet. Orange Olight. I'm sensing a theme. Orange Olight and blue Space Pen in the pocket caddy. Blue and orange, classic complementary colors. Very nice. Oh man, excuse me. I swear it's been hours since I've eaten. I don't know what's Manny Z says I've got the same Cold Steel. Sweet. Yeah, with the little slightly off center hole. It's charming. I don't Will B says the ZT-0350 is what started me down the road to the poorhouse. I mean, knife collecting. Yeah, that's a nice one. The 350. That's that collaboration between Strider and Ken Onion, I think. So this one, the Ulisa from Spyderco, was a knife that when it came out, I was well, like I just said, I know that I had drawn this knife before. And before, what's his name? Eric or Heinrich Ulisa, a German former police officer and a German knife maker and designer. He designed this, and they sort of put it with the police models because, first of all, a German policeman designed it, and also it's in that 4-inch range. It's kind of a similar size anyway, but it's just that the angle of the blade to the handle and then that deep recurve. I mean, this looks like a Filipino weapon to me. Looks like a Filipino sword of some sort. And it just really, really resonated with me. It's hollow ground. That's VG10. And when I saw this, I was like, oh my God, baby, you got to check this out. I don't know why I felt compelled to show my wife. And the first thing she saw was the price. She's like, $174 for a knife. And I was like, oh, no, I mean, not for me. I'm just saying, isn't that design cool? She's like, yeah, it's all right, I guess. I don't know if it's $174 all right. And I said, let's change the subject. So that Ulisa was a big one for me because I spent the money on it. And it wasn't inexpensive at the time for sure. And still not inexpensive, but things change. The older you get, the more you accumulate. And that was a big one for me. Not only because it looked like something I designed, but it was sort of my first not my first, but it was like a return to me buying luxury knives, a return from the first one I got, which was the Emerson Commander many years before that. Other than that, I was getting Spyderco's, not Spyderco's, Cold Steels, and I had a Spyderco or two from a flea market in Florida. But yeah, that was a good one. Ior, good to have you here, Ior. My starting knife was the Otter Anchor Messer. That's a cool one. That is a cool one. It's got that really steep sheep's foot blade, and obviously the anchor in the handle, the badge. Pretty cool. Oregon Knife Guy says, was just looking on DLT, and they have two patterns of case knives in S35VN, a medium Stockman and a boring Trapper. Trapper's not boring. I know it's their signature. And then Jim, just go back to the last thing. I just wanted to finish up that last comment about the case knives. But wow, Case is stepping into modern steels with their traditional knives. Yeah, that is interesting. They've been using that steel on their folding locking knives, but haven't seen it on a traditional like that. That's pretty cool. Kevin Moore says, I'd love to say the Spyderco PM2 started my knife world, but it was the SOG assisted open that really captured my interest. Oh, Kevin. So gauche. No, we all loved the assisteds for a while, didn't we? I mean, didn't we all like the assisted opens for a while? And I still have a few that I still really like. Have a Knife Day says, tell your wife it was either knife collecting or hookers and meth. You made the right choice. At least that's what I tell my wife. That's good. And hookers and meth isn't off the table. No, I'm just kidding. Because look at all these knives I have to keep me busy. Okay. Two more. The next was my foray into selling knives to get better knives. And this all happened when I had, labored away and saved up and bought a couple, what was it, 3? I think altogether I had 3 ZT knives that were designed. Yeah, I did. That were designed by Rick Hinderer. I had the 0452, which was really cool. Should have never gotten rid of that. And then there was the 0566, and then the and then another one. I can't remember. But I looked at him. I said, if I just traded all of these ETs in, I could get a real Emerson, and that's what I did. And that one I don't have anymore, but I do have this. This is an XM18, and this is my reground XM18, and they are awesome. And this was the first knife that I laid down serious cashish for, and yeah, it did start something for sure. But what a great knife. I mean, the Hinderer knives. I mean, come on. James says, the Spidey chef got me to appreciate well-built knives. The Arius set a high mark for further expectations. And my first custom order, EXK Plus from Trevor Berger, set me on the path to custom knives. That's cool. That's a pretty lucid trajectory. Oregon Knife Guy says, what really sent me down the rabbit hole was YouTube. I found Blade HQ and the bought ZT0450 at the local Buy Mart. The hell's that? You have a local place where you can walk in and get a ZT. That sounds, oh, maybe that's because you're in Oregon and you're not right next to DC. I say at least I'm not doing meth. Yeah, well, oh, geez. At least not. Emerson is out of Harbor City, California, and it's down the street from the battleship Iowa. How cool. I used to go to the Intrepid in New York City. That was pretty cool. This is the that's an old school aircraft carrier. This is the Riot K2, and this is the one. This is my fourth landmark knife. Four out of 4 that I'm showing tonight. This one got me hooked on smoothness, on not just smoothness. That's kind of a misnomer because smoothness can be found in non-drop shut knives. This got me interested in ball bearing smoothness because I bought this because I could not resist how beautiful the blade was. I initially wanted the blue handle with the anodization that's evocative of a samurai wrapped handle. They were out of that, so I got this dragon scale bronze, which I have ended up really loving and happy that I got this instead of the other version now. And that blade is just so unbelievably beautiful. I just find this to be, well, I have a couple of favorite Tonto shapes, and this is definitely in the top 3. Beautiful hollow ground, but it was this that got me. Oh my gosh, it's so smooth. Smooth and rockets out, and shake shut or just like kind of let it go. And this was the smoothest knife I had ever experienced to this point, or to the point where I got this. And wow, it opened my eyes, to what else you can get. And so these 4, I think, represent milestones, important milestones. There are others for sure. And, but I don't know. These 3 just popped out when I was thinking about it. This will always stay by the bed. And then these others get carried occasionally. This one gets carried quite a bit. By the way, this is the pork. This is the pork ribs. What am I going to call this? The pork the pork ribs XM, because this all used to be this even maroon color micarta, and then I was cutting ribs with it, and I didn't realize at the time, but grease got up onto I was just worried about it getting into the pivot. So I thought I was doing a good job, but it got all over the handle, and I kind of like it. I guess I have no choice but to like it. I put rubbing alcohol on it to see if it would lighten it up a little bit, and it didn't. So I suspect that what might do the trick if I want to lighten it up is what happened with with my do I have it here with me? Okay. No, I don't. But the Preta 2, my concept Preta 2 in micarta, I put it in the pocket. I went swimming in the pool and I got out and I put it back in my pocket. and the chlorine from the water in my pocket, the moist pocket lining, whatever, sitting next to the micarta kind of bleached the micarta. So I was working on a nice patina on that micarta, and this wiped it away. So if I get desperate to get rid of that darkness, it kind of looks cool. I kind of like it. But if I want it all even, I'll try that. But I have to try it before Memorial Day or Labor Day. I mean, Labor Day, because that's when our neighborhood pool closes. All right, knife life news. I want to show off something cool. It's not mine to show off, but I want to talk about a cool thing here. K Mason says Wingard Wearables will be giving away 5 Empress tomahawks next Wednesday. Making a purchase from now till midnight of the 4th enters you to win. Yes. Now I have an Empress, and I know you're not telling me. You're telling the people, but I have an Empress, and I have everything I want from them right now, but there are some things that they're developing that I really want. 1, the Warhammer, and 2, the bigger back ripper. Kevin Moore says, I have a Gonzo Adamanti Samson in brown G10 showing up Saturday. I don't know what that is. Adamanti Samson. Sounds nice. Brown G10 or G10. I was thinking micarta. I was going to say, I love brown micarta. Yeah. What do I have showing up? I have something coming soon too. I can't think of what it is right now. Shane Gable says, the knife that got me hooked on USA-made knives was the Benchmade Contigo. We were talking about that Contigo. I love the blade of the Contigo, and I want to love the handle. The double finger swale always kind of left me a little bit, where does it go? But the cutting, that knife cut so well that I don't know. That was the knife that exposed me to M4. I was like, oh God, this stuff is great. This steel, like, is notice for a person who doesn't necessarily notice. I notice when things start to go dull. That's about the performance vector or the performance metric, whatever the metric that I'm working with is how quickly it goes dull. And I felt that lasted a pretty darn good time. But other than that, I generally don't recognize the properties of the steels as I'm using them. What is that? Adamanti by Gonzo. Oh, this one. Yeah, this is cool. This is a cool one. It's a dagger, and those quillions are flipper tabs, but also work as a wave. That is a cool knife. I do wish that they sharpened the back, and I'm wondering if they left the false edge or the swedge narrow enough to get an edge on it, because it does look like you could put an edge on at least the forward part of that swedge area, because it looks like it would hide under the contour of the handle. It's a bit of a coffin-shaped handle, and it looks like it would fit in there pretty well. Rabbit hole knife was a Gerber. I knew that there was I knew that there had to be something better out there. That's funny, Michael. It's like sometimes our role models are negative role models. Paul Harvey was a famous newscaster, radio dude. Yeah, Mace Windu. Oh, thanks, Jim. I'm just see, Jim is kind because I have these moments of paralysis of the brain, and he sends me notes and I don't even see them because I'm looking over here and they're 2 inches to the right. Thank you. Kep McNessard says, good timing, Kevin. I have 2 Bear Forest knives showing up on Saturday, a GT3 Kephart and a Pickens game knife. Very nice. If you don't know, Kepmuk has a real affinity for outdoor knives and hunting knives. Check out his channel and you'll find, or check out his Instagram and you'll find out. FEMA Camp Etiquette for Dummies. Good to have you here, sir. My knife collecting hobby has me spending a lot more money on flippers and way less money on floozies. That's how it's done. You don't want a floozy. You want a stand-up famale. You don't want a floozy. Just Be with your knives until you find the right. You don't need no floozies. I don't know what I'm talking about. We've all had our fair share of floozies. Have a Knife Day says, I'm into the coffin handle trend. It'll be cool to see a coffin handled folder. Well, the new midnight Jack is a coffin handle folder. I have drawn a couple of coffin handled folders. I feel like, yeah. I think before I said that Gonzo was sort of a coffin handle. I take it back. It's rounded and it's not, but it's still cool. The Jack, what does that say? Oh, it must be the Midnight Jack. Yeah. Yeah, I do like that. I love it on a Bowie. I mean, that's pretty much where you see it. I miss Paul Harvey, says Shane Gables. I didn't know him. Hey, Byron, how you doing? Hello, Bob, Jim. Junkies just finished watching Russians play 70s Chicago and Earth, Wind, and Fire rock music in Amishville, Indiana. Fantastic show. Carrying a fork for bakery fresh banana. Oh, God, that sounds good. Bakery fresh. I'm going to say this. Bakery fresh banana cream pie. Bakery fresh banana cream pie sounds fantastic. And I love this. Russians playing 70s Chicago and Earth, Wind, and Fire. So they probably had a couple of horns and some backup singers and obviously a couple of a great bassist and some awesome musicians. Oregon Knife Guy says, and that's the rest of the story. Oh, okay. That's a good one. I think he was either before my time or not on the channel my parents watched. We had 3 of them, 3 channels until, we were in Cleveland. We were in a part of Cleveland that was a test market for cable and for MTV. So we got MTV in 1980. We got cable early and we got MTV before anyone else. And the funny thing is my parents are late adopters of everything. So it was crazy that they agreed to get cable. Kevin Moore says, so I won't be with y'all for a few weeks. July 6th, I go under the knife for bypass surgery. Who knew all those biscuits, gravy, and bacon would have this effect? Kevin, we will be thinking of you, sir. My grandfather had a triple bypass. I remember when he had a triple bypass. And then he was right as rain for another 30 years after that. So God love you, sir. I'll be thinking about you and missing your snarky comments because I love them. And we'll be wearing our Hawaiian shirts, even though I don't have one currently. We'll be wearing our Hawaiian shirts in your honor each Friday, sir. Yeah. So have a good going under the knife. You make sure that scalpel is in a titanium handle. Nick Martino says, I've been buying titanium cookware and camping gear, multi-tool flashlights, pens, fixed blades, pretty much the stuff I use every day. I'm always fixing or building something. That's cool, man. You sound like my other grandfather, the one who didn't have the triple bypass surgery, the one who gave me the knife. He was always, same thing, fixing or building something. KF Boston, good to have you here, KF. Just jumping on for a minute. Hope everyone is well. The knife that got me hooked started with my old Buck 110, then PM2, the unspeakable. Man, that's a good, man, the Buck 110, that's like a storybook knife to start your knife thing with. You know what I mean? It's like that's a great Buck 110. You can't beat the Buck 110, especially as a first knife. Have a Knife Day says, I've recently purchased a clip point and harpoon accented. Wait, let me start this again. I recently purchased a clip point and harpoon accented coffin handle fixed blades recently from Mark McCoon out of DeWitt, Virginia. Who's Mark McCoon? Why do I know that name? I don't know where DeWitt, Virginia is, so it isn't the Virginia connection. Maybe I don't know, but that sounds sweet. The clip point, harpoon clip point with a coffin handle. That sounds nice, and actually, that sounds like a nice kind of mashup. Michael, good to see you here, Michael. I was just looking at your tattoo there. The knives that got me into knives were the first dedicated and not Swiss Army knife. I bought the Kershaw RJ1, a partially serrated, and the classic K-bar. First of all, classic K-bar is one of the fixed blade knives I tell everyone who's just a folder guy to get. Everyone should have at least one fixed blade, and that is my first choice for if you're going to have just one, especially if you're American. And the Kershaw RJ1, I'm curious if the RJ1 is tomahawks. I'm curious if the RJ1 is one of the RJ Martin models. Must be. Look at those tomahawks. Ooh, very nice, man. Thank you, Jim. I appreciate that for hooking it up. I wanted to talk about the Tactile Knife Company real quick because they've got a new Bear model. Bear is their blockbuster slip joint knife. It won the Knife News Reader's Choice 2021 Reader's Choice Slip Joint of the Year. And it is now out in a material, not titanium, called Ultim. It's a resin. It's yellow. It's amber. It kind of looks like an amber handle, and you can see through it. It's translucent, and it comes with a little amber bead on it and a Magna Cut blade. And man, I think this looks cool. I love that color. I'm a sucker for amber and ochres and kind of dirty dark yellows and earth tones, and I think that is beautiful. And I like that it gives you a it gives you a view into the guts of the knife. There's not much to the guts of the knife, but you can also see the sort of superstructure of the knife, which is kind of cool. And in that Ultim, it still maintains that signature tactile sort of fine milling and texturing. It's just milled into Ultim instead of this. I don't think it's, you know what? I'm speaking out of school. I don't know whether it's molded or not, but I'm assuming it's milled because in the article it mentions that it's milled. But we think of resins as not being milled. Well, that's not true. All right, I'm going to stop right there. I think it's cool. What do you think? I don't have a Bear. I really want one. Maybe this is the one to go for. I have a hard time, I must admit. I have a size to price correlation in my head that makes it difficult for me to buy expensive small knives. It's like, okay, well, I'll spend that on this expensive small knife, but can you give me a little block of titanium and maybe a little slab of M390 on the side to go with it? I don't know. I know it's ridiculous. It's probably even harder to make a small knife. Stands to reason, right? The bigger something is, the easier you can work on it without specialized tools and all that. So anyway, looks cool. I'm excited for Tactile Knife Company. I think they're a really cool knife company. I think Tactile Turn is a really cool pen company, and I love seeing them growing and doing cool things. The only fixed blade I have is a kukri. That's a perfect only fixed blade. I think, well, maybe you need two fixed blades, Michael. Actually, maybe you need something straight too. I think the kukri is great, but maybe you need something straight. And hey, yeah, I said it like Johnny Cochran, vaguely. So there's your marching orders. I think you need to do that. Michael says, by do that, I mean get a straight blade. And there are plenty of great ones out there. Michael says, I personally think Kershaw should have never discontinued it. Which one? Oh, the RJ1. Yeah, it's I love his designs. I'm a sucker for his designs. You can spot him a mile away. And I got I can't remember what it's called, but my wife swears by hers. I've gotten her a lot of other nicer, more expensive knives, and she still goes for that. What's it called? The Swift, the Kershaw Swift, I think it's called, or something like that. Shane says, when I was a kid, we knew to be quiet when Paul Harvey came on the radio. It was like being in church. Oh, wow. Yeah, that was for me growing up. It was 60 Minutes. Like it was we weren't allowed to watch TV on weeknights except for Friday. and we could watch TV, Saturday, all day Saturday. And then on Sunday, it was like, tomorrow's school again. So you can watch a little bit during the day. And then at night, no, you got to be doing your homework. But then 60 Minutes comes on. We would all watch 60 Minutes as a family because it was TV. That's all I cared about. But I actually learned a lot, saw a lot of interesting stuff over the years. But you had to keep your mouth shut during the segments. It was like as soon as the commercials came on, and they had the Wausau commercials, WAUSAU. I don't know if you remember those. You don't, because you probably don't. But then we could talk and laugh. So Paul Harvey, he was your 60 Minutes. Happy Haptic EDC says, yes, Bobby, Ultem is a really high tensile strength. Ooh, cool. And can therefore be milled like steel. Oh, cool. And that and haptic, that also means tensile strength also, that it's not going to be easily broken or twisted or anything like that. Right? I mean, I'm assuming. That's cool. Ultem. It looks really nice. I got to say that for sure. Size to practice doesn't work in knives, but I'm the same way. Oh, size to price doesn't work. I'm sorry. Just misread that. Size to price doesn't work in knives, but I'm the same way. I know. It's a funny thing. I understand that too. As a matter of fact, if we're counting, like I said before, if we're counting labor, it's a wash because it's probably harder to build smaller knives. Nick says, as long as I've been making furniture from wood, oh, wow. Doesn't matter, a birdhouse or cabinet. The smaller it is, the more work it takes. It's odd how that works. Oh, that's funny. All right, next, I want to show you. This is something amazing. This is some really incredible, exciting news, and it took me totally by surprise. Kevin says, whoa, that bear is beautiful. Oh, maybe you need to get yourself a little something, a little confidence booster, or maybe not accomplishment, a kind of a get well gift. Maybe you should get yourself a little what do they call it when you come out and you're healing? It has a word. Convalescence? No. Well, I don't know. Whatever it is, when you're healing, get that bear. It might help, emotions, but definitely like the mental really affects the physical. And if getting the bear makes the mental and emotional happier, healthier, that is going to translate into your body. So do it. That bear is yours. I keep thinking Bexar, but I hope I'm saying bear. Okay, so one more thing here. You're never going to believe this, but Boker took the bold move, and they're making another Burnley Quaken. Boker is coming out with another Burnley Quaken. This time, it's got texturing. What will they think of next? Milled into the contoured aluminum handle is are three patches of knurling, and so it's not gonna slip. So this is answering all the unanswered questions from Boker Burnley Quaken number 1 through 22. This is like a movie franchise that just won't die. And I'm sorry to say that because, oh yes, it's automatic also. But or is that a button lock actually? No, I think that's an automatic. And I hate to put it that way. That makes me sound like I'm just picking on one knife. And there are plenty of knives. I mean, every time I pick on this knife, I think, well, what about the PM2? What about case knives, Trapper? Like, there's a zillion trillion versions of those two knives. But it's a little different because with the Boker Burnley Quakens, it's not like a sprint run in this steel or a sprint run with that handle. It's like a new model each time. And it's just another Quaken to put in the barrel of Quakens. And I think that Boker has a mission to get a Quaken in every pot, a Quaken in every household, at least household, if not pocket. So there you go. If you like knurling, and I do, I love the feeling of knurling on the fingers and on the hands, and I do love aluminum, and I like the damn knife. It is a gorgeous, I mean, really nice looking knife, and I've never had one. But now I have option paralysis. I'll never get one because who the hell can choose from all the Boker Burnley Quakens these days? Who? All right, so that's it. I mean, I don't mean to sit here and kvetch, but you got to come up with something. You can't just talk about how great everything is all the time. So I pick on the Boker Burnley Quaken. It was all about Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom for our Sunday family time television. That's awesome. Marlon Perkins was the man. I do remember Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom. That was a little bit earlier for me. Like I can remember it, but we didn't. By the time for me, the stuff I remember, 60 Minutes, Nature was the PBS show. Nature came on after it, and so we could only watch 60 Minutes and then Nature. Like we could not watch anything else. And now that I'm a parent, I'm like, that is very cool. My parents were damn disciplined because I remember. Can we watch it? I want to watch it. Does it have to be Nate? I remember being a little pain in the ass, and man, my parents, they stood firm, and it's highly recommended. Boker Burnley Quaken is like the Fast and Furious. Yes, it is. It is like the Fast and Furious, all 24 of them. Wausau Insurance, I remember. Okay, there was one. See if you remember this, Christoph. The one that I remember, there were a lot of different Wausau commercials, but there was one where a guy's checking into a hotel, I think, and he's like, he says to the lady behind the counter, "Yeah, I'm here from, for the insurance seminar," and she's like, "Warsaw?" And he says, "No, I'm here with Wausau." And she says, "WAUSAU, Warsaw." And it was hilarious. I thought it was funny, even as a little kid. There are more Quakens than Elementums. Oh, well, yes. This is the other one. The other one that I complain about, Elementums. I was just trying to remember before. What's the one that I complain about? Yeah, you know what I got to say about the Elementum? Now, I don't know why, but it feels different. Elementum feels more like the variation we get with a Delica. Whereas the variations we see with the Boker Burnley Quaken is like, don't have a Quaken yet? How about this kind? Still don't have a Quaken? How about a short one? No Quaken too heavy for you? How about a light one? Is it too metallic? Here's a plastic one. Is it's too slow? Here's an auto one. It's like, okay, God, I'll get a Quaken already. Just let me have a peaceful moment, Boker. Okay, I'm being dramatic, but I live with four females, including the cat, and it's just me and Argo, the dog, who try and hold down the masculinity in the house. So, there we go. So if I have offended anyone, well, put on some armor next time. All right, guys, that is it for me this evening. I'm snockered. Nick says, I think anyone who's into knives, there's a handful of certain knife that every collector needs. And I can name 10, but the Quaken in any form is one. All right. Okay. Point taken. That's a challenge. Maybe I need to find myself a used Quaken. Get myself, what will it take to get you behind the wheel of a Quaken? Behind the flipper tab of a Quaken. Maybe I'll search for the very first original one. That's probably what I'd be most pleased with anyway. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in and joining us. Join us on Sunday for episode 330. I speak with David Sun of Beyond EDC. What a cool guy. What a cool company. And I love what they're doing. I love their business model and their plans for the future. And it was really nice to speak with David too. Great guy. And then join us again on Wednesday for the midweek supplemental. Of course, Thursday Night Knives. Can't forget about that. How could you? You're here anyway. Byron says, thanks, Bob. Jim, have a great night all. Good night to you, Byron. Great to have you here. Have a great night and a great 4th of July, everyone. Thank you. And let me extend my my words. Manny Z, great live, Bob and Jim. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Manny. It was great to have you here. K Mason, Bob, Jim, thanks everyone. Take care. I got to say, well, also K Mason, good night. But I must say, happy Independence Day, happy 4th of July. We are lucky to live in this country. We need to make sure that it remains this country. And I'm not being preachy or political, but just put your finger in your mouth and hold it to the wind. Let's just make sure that America stays America, and let's celebrate like it's going out of style on the 4th of July. All right, everybody. For Jim working his magic behind the switcher, I'm Bob DeMarco saying until next time, please don't take Dole for an answer.